My name is Diane Hnath, Cortland, New York. Family court corruption. I have a boy and a girl, 8 and 5. I have a 5-year-old pit bull lab mix. What they said is they were full out fighting with my son in the middle. Supposedly happened on the 28th of January this past year, but I wasn't reported until around midnight on the 4th of February. We weren't even home almost all day. We left to go to Syracuse for like an all-day event to prepare for a hockey game. This caseworker wound up calling in on a mandated reporter's line, to my understanding, telling them that my dog had an aggressive nature. I was aware that it had an aggressive nature, and I brought in a puppy anyways, endangering my kids. They came on February 4th, told me that I was being under investigation. As I was opening my door, the cop was tugging on his cuffs, telling me, "Lock your dogs up and let us in." Again, I asked for a warrant. She said, "We'll get a warrant, but we'll get the warrant to remove your kids, not to investigate." I had immediately called back to the office, talked to her supervisor, and said, "Listen, I know this woman. I am good friends with her daughter. Well, I was. And I have very close connection to the father of her children." "Oh, really?" "Yes." "We'll sign the releases." "Shut up. You won't have a problem." I refused to sign releases. They called several times after that, informing me that they wanted me to sign more releases. And I said I would not sign them until I got a new caseworker. Not once did I ever have a caseworker in my home outside of the initial visit. I took both my kids because I had the feeling they were going to shift it to the doctors on the 17th of February and had it noted with the doctor's office that neither one of them had any sign of ever having been bitten by any dog. They then turned and said that I had been bitten, not my kids. I asked them, I go, if I had been bitten, how was this a child protective matter? So in their office, I ripped off my jacket, showed them my entire open fleshed body, and said, where was I bitten? Now they're saying that this did happen, nobody was injured, but they know this happened, based on records held at the SPCA claiming he had attacked animals prior to this. I actually went and got that record. It was not my dog. They wound up sending me a letter stating your dog has absolutely no record in our department, and provided me with a record of another dog that previously lived on the property, and refused to tell anybody where he was, slapped cease and desist orders and everything else. So she did this not telling us anything. If we asked, we were threatened by the SPCA with harassment. I have my children, and I currently have a hearing in August to prove my innocence on what they called inadequate guardianship. Well, they called it inadequate guardianship because I failed to exercise the minimum degree of care for my children. What needs to be done differently is there needs to be something to ensure that they follow their state-mandated procedures. Doing home visits, that is a state-mandated procedure. She never did that. More facts need to be presented. Honestly, hearsay should be brought right out of the equation. It should be removed from the equation altogether. If you can't bring some sort of physical proof, it's got to stop. Another thing I would like to see happen here in the state of New York is the permanency law being revoked. It's a ridiculous law. It's the ability to remove children under the assumption. Derivative neglect, I'd like to see that just go.
What's that?
Derivative neglect is guilty until proven innocent. They can, honestly, they will take your child from birth saying that you have the opportunity to neglect and abuse without neglecting and abusing.